Today I want to talk about future, more options, and the economy, and living in America or living other places, or travel and some other things, ideas, places, and things. That's sticking to the script today. My shorts. I've been gone for a while, a couple of months. I took a really big break and laying down the podcast. I want to get back to it. If you like any this one or any of the other ones that you've seen, then please like and subscribe and share, and leave some comments about what you think about what I'm talking about. Today is, and I don't like to date them because I want to give us, all. I'd like to keep it timeless as possible, right? But today I'll tell you, it's September, end of September, leading up to election day 2024, and Rebecca said to me a couple of months ago, and I don't want to. This is not a political one, but she said, if America looks like it's just going to hell, let's just peace out for a year or two, rent our place out, and go overseas. And I said, "Wow, are you serious? You've been overseas just one time, and you loved it. That was great. Here's some pictures of how much we really love going to Germany and going to Italy, see family, see friends, see sights and things. But the idea came up, let's let's go live there for a year or two." And then the obvious next question was, well, where do you want to go? And so what do you want to see? And so just like here in America, living in San Diego, one of the greatest things about San Diego is this almost year-round 70-ish degree weather with not a lot of bad weather. It's hard to beat. So if we want to go somewhere, we want to, when we talked about um, options in the States, because I had been gone from the States for a long time, and I've only really been here for about 12 years, of the last 40 something years, right? So I'm still like, still getting used to things, and there's so many things in the United States of America that I haven't seen. So I said, let's, when I retire, and I'm retired now, let's travel, and let's get an RV or something, and hit the road, or take a train. Trains are pretty expensive. If you wanted to go with the rate that you were traveling in an RV, then I think an RV would be the way. But so we spent literally the years of COVID looking at RV travel and what we wanted to do: travel around America, chase the 70-degree weather, leave San Diego, head to um, Arizona, New Mexico, to to Texas, to Louisiana, to Florida, the southern route, and then by spring start heading north up towards Ohio Central, right? Or maybe if we wanted to go around to the East Coast and up to Maine, and then cut back across the top half during the summer months where the weather up there is warm. And to get back in San Diego about a year later, we had planned the whole thing out, and it was very interesting. I planned it out, I costed out what the RV costs would be and when we wanted to do it. And then COVID sort of came to an end, and then we got into horse life, and it was, then that became the number one thing. So we did buy a traveling vehicle, but that was a living quarters for horses, so we can live in it, but it's a lot of garage space if you're not carrying horses, and carrying horses around the country in that loop is problematic because of, you got to get your feed changes, and the shoes changes, and the riding changes, and you really want to take care of the animal, and the veterinary costs and all those things are just not really conducive if you're not 100% dialed in for doing that, and we weren't at the time. So now here we are again. It's, where I'm retired. It's post COVID. We do have the horse, and we've got some horse riding activities for her coming up. So we've got a year or two on and off of doing that. Great horse. He's been trained. She's trained, ready to do some endurance rides. But if the day comes that we said we're going to pull the plug and we're going overseas, here's the plan. Um, get an RV, go to Germany. So going to Germany. So anyway, here's the plan for going to Germany. Rent our place out, go over there. I have a son. I have kids who live there, grandkids who live there, so it sort of works out. I was stationed there. I lived there for a long time, so it's a place that I'm familiar with. Germany and parts of Italy. Spent a lot of years there, so that part of Europe is sort of a stomping ground for me. So I'm not afraid of that. And if you are thinking about a move like that, then definitely contact me, because there's things that you can do there. How the job market is for Americans, particularly in part of the American system, because there's a lot of Americans who are working overseas for the government and other agencies. And then there's private industry, and then there's working for German companies. Like I said, me, I'm retired. But blessed. I don't need to work. So our plan: go over there and jump right in and get an RV. There's licensing issues, there's visa issues, but you could start off with 90 days, and you could start off with, let's say, um, living in hotels, or living in an Airbnb, or doing something else, or hostels. There's all kinds of different ways to figure out how to get over the initial period. For me, because I've got family there, I will go jump in, have probably picked out my RV before I ever leave the States. Get there, me and Rebecca and the dog, and off we go. Get the RV, and here's a couple that I'm looking at, you know, just for thought. This, well, I want to keep it under a certain length. I'm not trying to get a big Class A bus looking thing, because the roads are smaller, it's more difficult to maneuver, and obviously it costs more money. I don't want a small Class B van, because there's three of us, and the dog absolutely counts as one, and it could be very tight in those quarters. So something in between this one and that one really works out well. And then you can drive with a U.S. license, for example, for a certain amount of time while you work on getting, that license transferred over to a European license, a German license. So there's all kinds of things, and there's nothing to be scared of. And as for the language, you'd be surprised at how many people speak your language. Well, do they speak English? Yes, an overwhelming number of people speak English, and all depending on where you land and where you start, will sort of flush out where more English people are rather than less English speaking people are located. So get an RV, get a vehicle registration, get insurance, get road permissions, get road assistance stuff, get health care insurance. You can transfer certain types of health care to work overseas. May not be what you want, but there are certainly some overseas healthcare options that really come in a lot less expensive than what you might be paying now. And then obviously internet telephone, if you're going to be working like digital nomad, if you're going to be like me, is to do some of my work from home businesses while we're on the road, to just supplement that income and give us a little more to work with. So there's options for doing that, right? And if you've got a job that allows you to be mobile or remote, and you can do that, then you can go over for a little while and just try it out. Our goal is to then, going back to what the plan was here for the United States, to follow that 70-degree weather. That's going to be impossible in Europe. Well, it's not going to be impossible, but it's going to keep us out of where the core of where we want to be. So for us, it may be start in the spring in northern Germany, and work our way down the eastern borderline, going down towards Munich, and hit the countries of Hungary and Czech Republic, and maybe Poland up top, and come down, swing down through Italy, or rather Austria, then Italy, and then cut around the southern border, heading towards France and Spain. And maybe in Spain somewhere, we hang out until the weather um, hang out for the winter. And when the weather sort of picks up in the rest of the country, then we pick up and go. And we explore Spain in that area for a time before heading back up. So again, here's just really quick some of the things you have to think about beyond the insurance and the driver's license and the visa uh, to be able to live there. And the biggest thing about a visa is, well, I remember this, is if you can show to the German government, the German consulate and the German immigration that you have enough income to live there without needing something from their economy, then usually you're fine. If you've got friends that are there who can sort of vouch for you, then that it never hurts because that can give you an address. So meet some people before you go and start a relationship, just a friendship, and then who knows? And there's a lot of people who are willing to do that. There's all kinds of ways. Take a trip first and meet some people, and then build a relationship, and then have those people sort of give you a little bit of a guideline through the labyrinth of things you have to do. So that is really our plan, right? So you do have to figure out the cost of fuel, whatever you're using, gasoline or diesel. Again, there's some road taxes. There's propane for your tanks. There's overnight stays. It's not like America where you have um, campgrounds or BLM grounds or this. You can't just pull over somewhere in a Walmart and sleep overnight. But there are places that you can park that are sort of like that, and they do have camping um, parking areas for your RV, and they're it's like a parking lot with it sort of looks like a Tesla loading stations, right? You pull in, but there's water, there's electrical hookup, there's a water hookup. There may even be a propane filler tank somewhere nearby, and then somewhere else nearby to empty your gray and your black tanks. And you can sort of live plugged in. You put money in some of them. You put money in a machine and load up your electricity or load up your water, and there you go. And it doesn't cost, I think, like starting at $6 a night or something like that. It's really not that bad. So and there are apps out there that will help you navigate from place to place with those, and then you can follow whatever pathway you want to do. That's our plan, to try to stay ahead of the weather that we like the most, and we want to get into the snow of the Alps. You can do that in May, and down at sea level, it's a beautiful balmy spring day, and you drive up in the mountains and you got 8 feet of snow. So it's really all about what you want to do and where you want to go. For us, it really is a get out plan. If we're feeling like the U.S. economy, we are going through this weird time. I hate to use that word weird because everybody seems to be using it, but we're going through this time where prices are up and the economy is really mixed, as a mixed bag of messages, because you have really one side saying the economy is as bad as it's ever been, and another side is saying the economy has never been this good. I'm not an economist, but I think, because I love Europe, getting away for a while this madness subsides is not a bad idea. So anyway, that's my short rant for today. It was longer than I wanted it to be, but again, I'm always looking for um, ideas, places, and things to talk about, and some co-pilots to sit in the co-pilot chair and drive this with me for a 20 or 30 minute stint. So if that's you, like, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, and let me know what you want to talk about when next time I get out here. Peace.